Oh, and we're back. We're back. We're back. Back with the game. Very soft. Everything. Oh. Last time we. Extreme moments were being weird. Last time we met Leaf up there. And we're currently now bringing her to modern society because she's apparently from ages ago. I don't know how. Magic. The force is weird. No, remember now. I remember what name it was together. Oh yes. My goodness, this is incredible. I know you said the sediment from the forest had changed somewhat, but I never imagined, not in all my days, that it would be like this. We looked around. We looked around the drab, highly uninteresting Fen Chapel. Street with wide eye, desperate to drink in every little detail. Not that there's all that many details to take in. Fen Chapel is apparently small. Fen Chapel is a pretty small village. It's comprised of a few grey roads, several fields, a dilapidated train station, and a forest that holds far more secrets than first meets the eye. I can't read English. It's great. I suppose this place is the high street, but it's hardly as bustling as it's hardly a bustling hub of activity. The establishments that line this road can be counted on one hand. The small, privately owned corner shop that sells newspapers and milk and penny sweets. That's about it. There aren't any grocery stores or florists or pharmacies in sight, and clothes stores, you can forget about that. Whoever designed Fen Chapel obviously designed clothes for fancy city dwellers, not born and bred Fen Chapelans or Fen Chapelites? I'm not sure. There's a primary school nearby too, a small red brick building with two symmetrical chimneys on the other side. The school is fringed by small playground devoid of any playground equipment. There are no swings or slides here, only a few hopscotch patterns drawn on the ground in chalk, ringed by a fence. In summer holidays, the school playground is devoid of children. A few trees are dotted here and there. There are leaves rustling in the summer wind. And, that's about it. Fen Chapel's a total ghost town. Village, rather. There's nothing here that's all that interesting, but... Are these houses made of brick? How ingenious! It must work wonders at keeping in the heat during the winter months, and that building there, with wooden fence. Leaf points at the primary school, with its old-fashioned chimneys and large, lightless windows. It is absolutely huge! It's really not that amazing. Oh, but it is! Somebody of great importance must live in that building. I am sure of it. Could it perchance be owned by an important feudal lord? Or rather, the king of Bernicia himself? No, it's just a school. A school? A place where small children learn how to read and write? Oh! Such buildings exist in this era. How marvelous! Tuition must be incredibly expensive, though. I suppose only the elite are allowed to attend these so-called schools. no, it's free. Everybody goes to school. Really? You are not trying to trick me, are you? No, why would I do that? Leaf seems confused enough as it is about Martin's customs. I hardly want to make things worse for her. The poor girl. Not that she seems at all upset about how much the world has changed over the last several centuries. She's staring at her surroundings like a tourist. But, Fenchapel isn't like London. There are no historical monuments or high-rise buildings. Everything's flat and grey and dull. I'm a little perplexed about Leaf's excitement, but I guess to her even a tiny village like Fenchapel must seem like a feat of modern engineering. Everybody has to go to school. We don't have a choice, even if we try to bunk off. Bunk off? Skip school? If we do that, then we'll get in trouble. The headmaster of our school sent a very stern letter to my parents when I skived school during sports day back in year 9. I don't even know why he was so angry. It's not like I was missing anything important. Who even cares about sports day? Apparently, headmaster. But why would you not want to go to the so-called school? I do not understand. We did not have such things in my time. Only exceedingly wealthy and had anything in the way of education. The rest of us had to live with our own ignorance, unable to rise up in the ranks. I would have loved to learn how to write my own name, but I was never given that chance. Well, I guess things must look a little different from your perspective. For as long as I can remember, I've regarded school as a particularly cruel and unusual punishment. But I've never thought others might see it as an opportunity. I've been feeling pretty down since my dad dropped me off at Fenchapel yesterday, but I guess I'm pretty lucky, huh? Yes, indeed. To be born in an enlightened era like this, where people live in brick houses and are entitled to an education. I think it is incredible. I was never even able to dream of such a haven when I was younger. The world has come such a very long way. Leaf twirls around, laughing, her arms outstretched. Her fingers are extended outwards like a ballerina's. Right hand smeared with droplets of her own dried blood. A woman emerges from the nearby corner store, clutching a brown bag to her chest. She turns, meaning to pass Leaf and I by the school, but then she sees Leaf, and she blanches and hurries off. I think she's trying to avoid us. I can't say I blame her. Leaf does look quite lethargic, with her wild eyes and the splatter of blood staining her right sleeve. Hey, Leaf? What is it, my lady? Could you, chill with your excitement for 5 seconds? We're getting some funny looks. I don't know if Leaf understands half of what I just said, but at least she has a good sense to look apologetic. She sees us spinning, her hair ruffled, and laughs bashfully. I apologize, my lady. I know my behavior is rather uncouth, but I cannot help myself. This might be commonplace for you, but it is all rather new to me. It is as though I have awoken in an entirely different world. I feel like the heroine of a mythic yarn. Right back at you. I sigh. Well, you'll have to get used to it. I can't have you twirling around like that when we're walking through the street. It isn't safe. You might veer into the road, and then you could get hit by a car. A car? What is this thing you speak of? Leaf looks to me uncomprehendingly. I groan. I should have known that it'd be a whole other can of worms to open. Me and my big mouth. Well, never mind that now. We need to hurry back to my grandma's house. Yes, my lady. I'm at your service. At least she's obedient. Let's press on. Grand's house isn't too far away. Nothing's far away in Front Chapel. This village is tiny. But first, can't you do something about your clothes? My clothes? Leaf looks down at her coarse green garb with some surprise. Is there a problem with them, my lady? They may make you stand out a little like a sore thumb, and your arm is covered in blood. For God's sake. Can you magic yourself a new outfit? Something that blends in a little better? I apologize for disappointing you, my lady, but I cannot comply with that request. Why not? If somebody else sees her covered in gouts of blood, they might think a violent murder has taken place. I don't want anybody calling the police. Then Leaf will discover firsthand what happens to people who break the law. I do not precisely know, but my magic does not work like that. I can make my sword appear and disappear at will, but for it has been enchanted by sylphs. But alas, I have no other clothes to change into. If you wish me to wear something else, you will need to procure the necessary items for me, my lady. Oh, I see, of course. I mean, why would magic work that way the way I want it to? That'd be way too convenient. How am I supposed to introduce Leaf to my grandma now? I think about telling Gran the truth as we walk back to her house. I haven't had something of a speech prepared. Hey, Gran! You'll never believe what? You never guess what? I went into the woods and then crawled through a hollowed-out tree into a sacred clearing. And I found this strange girl. She says her name is Leaf and she's a knight from, like, the 8th century. Can we keep her? Please, can we? She doesn't have anything else to go and she doesn't mean any harm. She's been house-trained. No, well, a adjusted person would tell a tall tale like that. My dad would take it as a joke, and my mom would anxiously feel my forehead for a temperature. But my grandma just might. She's old and susceptible enough, and she's already an ardent believer in fairies. When it comes to magic, a female knight displaced in time is almost benign. But in the end... So, Marnie, you say this girl is your friend? I feed Gran a tissue of Lois instead. I know lying is wrong, but in this case it's necessary. Gran talks about magic often enough as it is. I don't want her relaying these wild tales to Moira when she comes back from her big shop next week, or even worse, my parents. As long as my grandma sticks to speaking about vague, oblique magic, like fairies and brownies, she seems relatively harmless. But a fully fledged delusion like this might be taking things a step too far. Uncle Jim is concerned about Gran's mental facilities as it is. Shortly after Grandpa's death, he tried to get her taken into an old person's home. But Dad and Aunt Letta and Aunt Allison resisted. So, she talks about fairies, Jim. What so? So what? She's not causing anybody harm. She believes Her beliefs are balmy, yes, but she isn't wandering the woods in the 90s. Trying to catch fire pixies in a net. Let's just let her be for now. If she gets any worse, well, we'll talk. But she's self-sufficient enough for now. And I think being in her own home will be good for her. It's all she has left to remind her of Dad. This saga has been going on for the past few months. Uncle Jim's desperate to get Gran taken away. Mostly because he wants her house to himself, as so Dad says. I don't want to give my greedy, grasping uncle any ammunition. That's why I decided to tell a little white lie regarding Leaf's true identity. I think it'd be easier for everyone that way. But unfortunately for me, Leaf doesn't make the most convincing 21st century schoolgirl. The moment Leaf steps foot in Gran's not so humble abode, she starts to look around with the eagerness of a child at a theme park. The grandfather clock in the entrance hall procured from her a soft gasp of delight, as did the painting on the walls. I was able to shepherd Leaf into the living room with some difficulty, but she seems even more overwhelmed when here than she was before. The mahogany bookshelves and the plush reclining chairs are a peculiar source of interest to my unusual guest, but nothing has commanded her attention more than the widescreen TV. I guess her weird clothes aren't helping her case either. Now I did scrub the worst of the blood from her sleeve before introducing her to my grandma. I just hope it's enough. Did you say her name was Leaf? That's right. My, what an unusual name! That's pretty though. It's nice to meet you. It's nice to meet you, dear. How do you know my Marnie? Leaf doesn't reply. She's too busy staring at the television. I don't think I've ever seen anybody more fascinated by a blank monitor before. Leaf? Gran looks at me, frowning. Is your friend alright? She's fine. She's just a little tired from the long journey. She came here on the bus, and you know what the buses around here are like. Oh yes! They stop at every single little town before here in Grisby, and the roads are awful. You get rattled around like a bowling pin. It was good of Leaf to come here despite that. You must be good friends. Yeah, I guess. I feel like I can tell Gran I've only known Leaf for a few hours. That'd make things a little too complicated. Does she go to school, the same school as you? That's right. I was complaining to her about having to spend my summers here, and she decided to pay me a visit so I wouldn't be too bored. Isn't that nice? Isn't that right, Leaf? I nurse Leaf in the rib with my elbow, and she jumps. What? Oh yes, indeed. That is all correct. I came to Fenchapel so I could see my I mean Marnie, because we are such good friends. Ugh. Her delivery is so wooden, she might as well have been reading off a script. Not that Leaf can read. She's never been to a school, unlike me, and she never had a chance to learn. She's also, rotten at telling lies. I wonder if the side effect of being an honorable knight would be twisting the truth goes against her chivalric code. Whatever that is. Well, at least there's one thing I'm certain of, despite her striking looks. Leaf would make an absolutely terrible actress. I had to pick her up from the bus station outside the corner shop. It was a bit delayed, that's why it took a while to get it back here. I'm sorry I didn't mention it sooner. It kind of slipped my mind. Oh, that's quite alright. I'm probably forgetting things myself. I'm old, you know. I hope I haven't inherited my patchy memory. Marty, I can be quite the burden. Tell me about it. Miss Partridge is always getting on my case when I forget the stupid oil method. Like it matters. That cow has had it. Has had it for me since day one. Now. Grand Tuts reproachfully. That's no way to talk about your teacher. I'm sure Miss Partridge only wants the best for you. Remember, I used to be a teacher myself. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you weren't too worried when it took so long to get back. I was a bit concerned, yes, but I have faith in you. You're a clever girl, Marnie, and I knew you'd be safe. You'll never be foolish to venture too far into the forest. Particularly after my warnings. Yeah. Right. Ron had so much misplaced faith in me. Pretty much all the adults in my life, Miss Partridge being chief among them, think I'm a colossal screw-up. My mother's forever getting on my case, and my teachers are all make snarky remarks when I conveniently forget my homework or my PE kit. I'm not used to adults genuinely believing in me. If only my grandma knew the truth. Would she be quite so quick to trust me then? Well, it's certainly kind of you to venture out here during your summer holiday. Well, if I thought I have to keep you amused. Though I have little to keep you amused. I can't read English. It's great. There isn't very much for young'uns to do in these parts, I'm afraid. There aren't any shops or cinemas. I'm afraid you'll find it dreadfully dull here. Are you sure you won't be bored? I very much do not doubt I would get bored, even if I tried. I've only explored this fine settlement. I digged Leaf in the ribs with my elbow. Was that serendipitous enough? At least it seems to have gotten the point across. I mean, the village for a short while, but it's quite commendable. You do not need to worry about me. I am certain I will find no shortage of things to do here. Well, that is reassuring, though, and I fear you're being too kind. I'm fond of this place myself, but I know it can't hold a patch to Grimsby, or even Cleethorpes. Cleethorpes? Where's that? You haven't heard of it? I'm here to interject before Leaf can make her ignorance even more apparent. Leaf goes to my school, but she's not from Grimsby. She lives in, what's a suitable tiny out-of-the-way village Leaf might hail from? I have a pretty thorough knowledge of all the towns and villages near Grimsby, as I always help my dad navigate when we're driving. I run an alphabetic list of suitable settlements in my head, pondering before I settle on Bulstow. Bulstow, is it? But that's even smaller than Fanchapel. I know, right? Leaf's always telling me there's nothing there. I wasn't even impressed when that Fanchapel had a school. Can you credit it? Her parents are kind of protective. She doesn't get a chance to get out much either. Anyway, can Leaf stay with us? She came all the way to see me. Your house is huge. You could have one of the spare bedrooms. There's loads of them. Well, I suppose having another guest might make things a bit less lonely. You wouldn't believe it now, but this place used to be so lively upon my time. Once upon a time, I had 5 children, and though herding them out to school every morning was stressful, it was very rewarding. It felt like those times would always last. But then my children grew up, moved out. They had children of their own. It was just Frank and I for a while, but he passed away last winter. And this big house has never felt emptier. I suppose that's what happens when you get older. But Brad shakes her head, her pale eyes roomy with reminiscence. Well, never mind all that now. I don't want to put your friend off. There's nothing more intolerable than a silly old woman who can't stop harping on the good old days. On the contrary, my good woman, I find your stories most interesting. I am of the opinion people should learn from their elders for better. Hello, Hasuki. For they have experienced things we have not. That is the only way we can better ourselves. How are you doing, Hasuki? I am playing a cute visual novel about these 2 cute girls. Why? If this were the 8th century, you would be respected for your advanced years. People would come from miles around to hear your words of wisdom. Oh, is that so? Yes, indeed. I have a vesting interest in the 8th century, and I know these things. Well, I do quite fancy being a druid. Oh, my children, bless their hearts. Don't take the rambling of their old mother seriously. And neither does my lovely Marnie, though she nods her head and pretends to act interested. They all think I'm mad when I start wafting on, not that I can blame them. The times have changed. They certainly have. They have changed more than I ever imagined they could. What do you mean by that, my dear? Oh, don't pay Leaf much mind. She's really into history. So she always talks like this. Isn't that right, Leaf? Yes, indeed. History is one of my passions. Well, then I'd be more than happy to welcome you into my home. I'm a piece of history myself. I'd be only too happy to share my stories with you. That sounds wonderful. I would love to converse more with residents of this era. Your era, she means. Leaf's pretty into World War II. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Huh? Leaf stares at me. I know the words. What World War? Hanging on her lips. So I hastily hurry the conversation along. So Leaf can stay here, is that alright? That's quite fine with me. I'd be glad to have her company. Oh, I can't imagine that you'd want to spend too much time with me. I'm old. And Cena, you 2 girls should enjoy yourselves. You only get to experience your youth once. Don't let me hold you back. There's precious little to do, but the church is very pretty. There's a small library. There's the forest too, but I'd warn you not to venture too far out. Strange creatures lurk in the forest, my darlings. And if they catch you, you'll never let go. They'll never let go. For once, I don't shake my head and roll my eyes at my grandma's apocryphy. apocryphal warnings. How could I? She's been right the whole time. The forest is enchanted. And I'm sure I've only witnessed a small sliver of what it has to offer. So, what do you think? About this house? Oh, it's simply amazing! Leaf twirls around the kitchen, her fingers clasping together at her front, like Marnie from The Sound of Music. Like Maria, not Marnie. I read that too fast. You just need to replace the backdrop with the sprawling Australian Alps, and you'd have the almost perfect shot-for-shot rendition of the movie. Speaking of which, I've never actually seen The Sound of Music all the way through the end, so to my mother's chagrin, it's way too long, and I have better things to do with my time. I can hardly believe your grandmother lives in the house on her own. Why is it large enough to accommodate 10 full families? My grandma did have a family, but her sons and daughters are all grown up now, and her husband's dead. Oh yes, your grandmother did mention that. The excitement must have gone to my head. I apologize. I was not thinking. Leaf pauses, her exuberant twirling, her expression suitably contrite, and she glances around the kitchen. There's an old sepia-tinted photograph hanging on the wall of my grandparents from 40 years ago. They look young and happy, my grandma with her chiffon hat and pearl earrings, my grandfather with his slick back hair and button-up shirt. My grandparents are posing on their sprawling lawn in front of the lake with their 5 children: Uncle Jim, Aunt Alison, Uncle Stefan, Aunt Lydia, Aunt Leda, and me dad, with bruised knees and bright grins. I've always been fascinated with that photo. It's strange to see my grandparents looking so young, with only a few wrinkles of their eyes and mouths. What is it, Marnie? Is it a portrait? I guess it's kind of a portrait, yes. It's easier going along with that than explaining what photographs are. Particularly when I'm not entirely sure how they work myself. I mean, what am I? Google? I don't think so. For a portrait, it looks incredibly lifelike. The painter must have had a very keen eye. And who are the people within this frame? They look somewhat familiar. That woman. He peers at my gran. She's posing by her granddad's side, with an arm wrapped protectively around her waist. Is she your grandmother? That's Grandma Iris, yes. Grandpa Frank's next to her. I think you have liked Frank if you could have met him. Everybody did. Everybody did. He was a nice man. He liked going for walks in the forest too. He knew which mushrooms were edible and which weren't. You could tell the birds apart by the sounds of their cries. He sounds like a fine man indeed, and so did your family. They look very happy together. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they were. This family is quite huge too. Really? Weren't families even bigger back in your day? They were, if mothers could survive the strain of childbirth. Of course. Bereaved husbands often took on 1 or 2 more wives after their first hand had died. there were some families with up to 10, 11, maybe 12 children. Only ever had my brother, Edmund. Our family was unusually small, and the two of us were very close. I thought we were, at least, but... Leaf sighs and shakes her head. I doubt we ever smiled quite as much as your grandmother's family did. They looked so carefree. Well, it was a different time. And yet, no matter what age it is, people still get old and die. This house must have been filled with happiness once. Now it feels rather sad. A large house like this is certainly impressive, but it does feel somewhat cold. Not that I wish to judge your grandmother's abode. I apologize if I have something uncouth. It's fine. I'm not upset. In fact, I agree with you. It seems a little funny that Leaf should be so concerned with manners, given she speaks with an oddly intense kind of politeness. I don't know if she could upset anybody if she wanted to. Anyway, now that you've met my grandma, I think you should probably have a bath. Oh yes, you are quite right. I did get rather dirty during my skirmish. Dirty is one way to phrase it. I managed to clean most of the blood from her clothes, but I bet her arm's still dripping with it. Is there a place I may bathe nearby? Perhaps a lake, or even a small stream. Well, there is a lake in the garden, but... Wonderful! Then I shall go there post-haste. Wait. I grabbed hold of Leaf's shoulder before she can go storming off. I might have been able to explain Leaf's more prominent quirks to my grandma, but skinny dipping in her leg would be taking things way too far. There's no coming back from that social faux pas. It's the 21st century, remember? You don't need to clean yourself in a lake. In fact, there's a thought you frowned upon. Then how am I supposed to get clean? I don't understand. You don't need to understand, just come with me. We need to go upstairs. Upstairs? But my lady, how could there be a larger body of water upstairs? The ceiling does not look nearly deep enough to accompany anything of such a thing. Oh, but you'd be surprised. Then, are you saying... His eyes sparkle with childish excitement. Is there a manner to clean oneself using magic? You don't know half of it. You don't know the half of it. Prepare to be amazed. How incredible! The water is appearing from thin air. It looks so clean and pure. Just like glass. Could it be? Leaf reaches out. Her left hand curls about the side of the bathtub. She brushes the stream of running water with her fingertips and then... Oh! She gasps. Either surprise or delight. It's hard to tell. And draws back, amazed. It feels just as real as any other water. It is warm, and it is warm too. How could this be? Is it some kind of enchantment? No, it's nothing that fantastical. It's just a miracle of modern plumbing. Plumbing? His brows furrow. What is that? And how does that work? Please tell me. With now your warning, Leaf reaches out and entwines her fingers between my own. The fingertips of her right hand are a little damp from the bathwater, and a few loose droplets trickle down her digits. I wish to learn as much as about this era and its wonderful adventures as I can. It is only now I realize how truly ignorant I am. But I will persevere, and I will do my utmost to understand how this so-called plumbing works. Well, about that... I backed away shyly. Why am I so retired about this girl? My cheeks tingle, pale pink. Leaf is standing so close to me. Our noses are only inches apart. Can you feel her breath in my cheeks? And my skin prickles? The shameless concept of personal space? Perhaps it wasn't invented back in the 18th century. 8th century. It's like schools, photographs, and running water. Yeah, I could try to explain it, but I don't really understand it. If you want to know more about how it works, you can always Google it. Google? What is that? It's a search engine. You can ask it questions and it can give you answers. Most of the time, at least. Then this so-called Google, some kind of druid? Or maybe an oracle? I guess you could say that, yeah. But let's not get into a discussion about the World Wide Web. I don't even understand how Wi-Fi works, and I use the internet practically every single day. If Leaf's poetic about the wonders of running water, wait until she learns about Amazon and Twitter and Facebook. No, not Facebook and Twitter. I think she might just have a heart attack. Speaking of heart attacks, you're sitting a bit close. Oh, my apologies. Leaf backs down, smiling bashfully as she does so. I do not mean to make you uncomfortable, my lady. Please forgive me for my gross breach of contract. I was so excited I quite forgot my manners. But oh, this era is truly wonderful. I suppose I am surrounded by so many incredible things. Makes me wonder if I was able to live without any of those conveniences. Leaf takes a seat on the side of the bathtub, which is slowly filling with water. The water drum is against the inside of the bathtub, and a faint sheen of mist settles upon brass bathtubs of the tiles. They may also start to fog over. Maybe I think vaguely the water is just a bit too hot. I don't want to leave scolding herself when she finally climbs into the tub. I wish to know as much about this world as possible, so that I may assimilate. I have no desire to cause you any grief. I know I must seem woefully anachronistic to you, but these are all new experiences to me. It is hard for me to react appropriately. Stay before it crashes on itself again. I worry for that every single time. Very often. I'm gonna say that check something real quick. I need to go splash some water in my face. I wonder why I'm tired. I'm dying. Anyways, back to the game. I am doing my best to behave as a knight should, yet this is all so very much to take in. I am not bothering you, am I, my lady? No, you're no bother. If anything, I think Leaf looks kind of cute when she waxes poetic about all the simple things I take for granted. Pretty cute. But catch myself saying that out loud in a hurry. If you're saying that out loud in a hurry, I wouldn't want her to get a swollen head. It's not like her cuteness completely offsets her annoyingness. Now, do you think you'll be alright in the bath on your own? What? Leaf stares at me. Are you not going to bathe with me, my dear lady? No. Of course I don't want to bathe with you. It's out of the question. What? But why? Ugh. Does she truly not understand why I'm so opposed to her modest proposal? Was she trying to play some kind of joke on me? Leaf doesn't seem like the kind of girl who'd find pleasure in flustering other people, so I guess I'll have to go with option A. She really is pure. Either that or a fool. I can't bathe with you, that isn't how things are done in Zara. It isn't. No. I fail to see why not. We are both women. There should be no cause for scandal. Bathing was a communal activity back in my time. Women would often help scrub one another. It makes things much simpler. Maybe it was normal in your era, but times have changed. You don't need to help me. I've been washing myself since I was a little kid. Oh, that is rather sad. But if that is the way things are done here, I cannot complain too much. It does seem somewhat strange to me, though. I cannot understand your reasoning at all. The tub seems big enough for the both of us, and you also need to have a bath. Would this not save time? Would be convenient, sure. But that isn't the real problem here. I can hardly get into the tub with a girl I've known for less than a day. I'm sorry, but it really isn't possible. You can go in the bath first, I'll follow after. But you are my lady, and I am your humble knight. Does it not stand to reason that you should bathe before I? That seems only fitting. Don't worry about it too much. Need to wash all that blood from your shoulder. I'm fine with waiting. Well, I would prefer it if you would stay here, so I can protect you should any trouble arise, but I do not want to be a burden either. If you think it is best we bathe separately, then it is what we shall do. Your wish is my command. Thank God. I was afraid Leaf would insist otherwise. Unless she's willing to listen to me, she shouldn't be. It wouldn't be much more night if she didn't. But something about her words make me pause. Why would you need to protect me? One can never be too careful. As your knight, it would not do if I let you get hurt. I won't get hurt. I'm not in the forest anymore. Grant's house is safe. Yes, I imagine it should be at least, but... He frowns, lips draw into a serious line. Her previous excitement over the bathtub is already forgotten. Why did you look so serious? We're out of the woods now, both literally and figuratively. We shouldn't be in any danger. That's what I like to believe, but... In the matter that Cloak's friendship was forces further reaching than I or my grandma even dared to imagine. While Leaf luxuriates in the tub, I search for some more suitable clothes to change into. She can't spend her days in friendship all tired in her coarse green garb. That would surely draw attention. I could not let Leaf wear my clothes. I only packed enough for me. And my clothes wouldn't fit, but I think Ground kept hold of some of Aunt Letta and Aunt Allison's old clothes from back when they were teenagers. Grant's prone to nostalgia, and she finds it hard to part with things that remind her of her past. She even has poor Georgie, the parrot's disused birdcage, stashed somewhere in the attic. I should be able to find something that'll fit Leaf amongst my aunt's unwanted cast-offs, even if the style will be 30 or 40 years out of date. Well, that would suit Leaf down to a tree. Down to a T, not a tree, a T. I can't read. Her entire existence is out of date. I just hope she likes ruffled blouses and high-waisted skirts. And so, half an hour later... Oh my god, that's adorable. Incredible! Is this... really me? That's a gush. Love it, I love it. That's just adorable. Adorable. Look at that outfit. Adorable, I love it. One gush for me. One gush so far. My voice is dying, what the hell? Leaf examines her reflection in the mirror. The clothes she's currently wearing came from Aunt Letta's wardrobe, and I think they suit her. Aunt Letta's fashion style has gotten progressively weirder as time wore on. I'll hydrate, I'm hydrating right now. Water. As time wore on, but she didn't always dress in black, shapeless robes. When she was my age, she was very fashion conscious. She had a lot of nice clothes to pick from. From 1980 standards, that is. I know you don't look much like a knight, but it's best I could do. My Aunt Letta didn't have any chainmail in her drawers. Oh no, it's quite alright. I know I am a knight deep within my heart. I do not always have to dress the part, though that is quite fulfilling too. I have no qualms with updating my look. I would not want to draw too much attention. Still, Leaf twirls about in front of the mirror. This fabric feels so nice and soft. It must be awfully expensive. I doubt it, that they're all mass-produced, even if there's a few decades old by this time. Maybe they fetch a decent amount if you sold them on eBay. People like vintage things. eBay? It's like a big shop? But you do not pay for these? But did you not pay for these? Not a penny. They're Aunt Letta's old things. She's a grown woman now and doesn't wear these sorts of clothes anymore. Then tell your lovely aunt I said thank you. These clothes are so different to what I am accustomed to. Though it is not a bad thing, it is quite refreshing, really. I am seeing myself in a new light. I never knew my legs were quite this long. It is rather novel, only. Leaf tugs at the hem of her polka dot skirt, a self-conscious blush tinges her cheeks. Don't you think this is a bit too short? Not really, it's longer than mine. And you're wearing tights. I figured this would be easier to walk in than Aunt Letta's bell-bottomed trousers. But I can fetch you a pair if you prefer. Oh no! You are the one familiar with current fashion trends, not I. So I shall trust your judgment. I really am glad you took the time to find me some suitable clothes. You have proved yourself to be a very dear friend. Friends, are we? I thought we were a lady and her knight. But I'll take friends over that any day of the week. I don't have all that many friends back in Grimsby. Not so that girls in my class think I'm weird, and I guess I kind of am. I'm perpetually gloomy and unenthused, like Eeyore, but less cute. And I don't like making small talk, particularly about my looks. When I first started secondary school, girls always tried to play with my hair without permission, and cooing about how cute and small I was. I glared at them, ran my fangs, and they backed off sharply. Now nobody really tries to speak to me, other than a few fellow social recluses, Helen among them. Helena, or Helen. It's not like I'm gagging for attention or anything, but don't get me wrong, but being with Leaf is kind of nice. Perhaps that's why I return Leaf's eager smile with my own. Thanks. I'm glad I met you too, and if you really want, then sure, I'll be your friend. Saving. After a brief discussion about the mirror, I retreat to the bathroom so I can clean myself up. I didn't know exactly how sore my muscles were until I sank into the tub. I have a few scrapes on my knees and cuts on my leg from the nasty fall, but that's nothing compared to the injuries Leaf sustained on my behalf. Edmund's sword cut through her shoulder as though it was a slab of meat. It could have killed her, but she didn't take a single complaint. How was she able to withstand such a devastating blow? It must be magic. Maybe Leaf's body isn't made of flesh and blood like mine, but something stronger. I luxuriate for a while, letting all the tension drain from my body as my hair curls around me in the water. My thoughts are focused not on my own cleanliness, and the stinging in my afflicted hand, but on my new friend. Leaf, huh? She's a funny one. I don't know what to make of her. She's quite strange. There's no two ways about it. But I guess I'll give her weird behavior a pass. It's not her fault that she comes from a completely different era. If I was taken from my century, if I was taken from the creature comfort of modern era and plunged back into unceremoniously and plunged down sensuously into the 8th century, I have no idea how I would react. I'd probably contract a life-threatening disease, and tumble headfirst into a, well, after 5 minutes. All things considered, Leaf's taking this change of pace pretty well. Enthusiasm must be catching, because I catch myself smiling, which is rare for me. I hardly even smile. Of course, in my 16 years, I've learned that my smile encourages people to talk to me. Most of these people mean well, of course, but fending off comments about how small and dainty I am, just how old are you really, gets old pretty quick. It's easier to sulk about in the background, a perpetual frown on my face that keeps people at bay. Time I started to double down on my unapproachable appearance. I caked my face in white foundation and ringed my eyes with dark eyeshadow. I looked perpetually sleepy. I wore black and ripped fishnet, and strangers stopped making a fuss. When I'm Leaf, I don't worry that much about my appearance as I usually do. I feel like I can afford to let my guard down with her. Maybe because she's so strange and unusual herself. Or maybe it's because she's sworn herself to be my knight. She said she'd protect me. I don't know what she is to protect me from, but I do appreciate it. I hope I'll be able to return the favor one day. After I bath, Leaf and I head downstairs to have dinner with my grandma. We don't eat in the dining hall, or at the too large table made for 12. Instead, we take a relaxed, decided, more cozy meal in the kitchen, just filled with the homey scent of shepherd's pie. Grandma's hand-eye coordination might not be what it used to be, but she still knows a way around the kitchen. Her porridge this morning was hearty and nourishing, but she really shines when it comes to meat and veg. Her shepherd's pie is delicious. It's golden brown on the outside, with just the right amount of crunch, but not even that can hold a candle to a Sunday roast. Grand's big Sunday roasts are one of the main reasons why I endured our weekly trips to Fen Chapel during my childhood. Plus the fact that I got to play with Ruby and Pearl and Ella and David and Oliver. Sadly, my myriad cousins aren't here, which is Grand, Leaf, and me, a trio small enough to fit into the kitchen table that overlooks the garden. Here you go, Leaf, my dear. Hope you like it. Grand sets a plate of steaming shepherd's pie down in front of Leaf, with the hostess' proud grin upon her lips. There isn't enough for seconds, unfortunately, as I didn't know I'd be entertaining a guest. But you're more than welcome to help yourself to some cheese and crackers or some pudding. Do you like strawberries, dear? I have lots of them, and they need eating. I also have apple pie I made a few days ago. It's still good. There's one more slice left. You can have that with clotted cream if you like. Leaf alone. Gran, you're overwhelming her. Just let her enjoy her dinner in peace. Oh yes, you're quite right, of course. Forgive me. Where are my manners? I don't mean to overwhelm you, my dear. Please forgive this old woman. I'm just glad to have somebody else around here to live in a place. Now feel free to dig in! Don't wait for me, you're a growing girl. Nothing makes me happier than seeing people enjoy my food. Ah, this! Leaf stares at her plate of shepherd's pie and oh, her eyes are positively sparkling as though she's never seen a more amazing sight. Forget the Eiffel Tower. or the entire pizza, a Big Ben. The most amazing landmark of, of Europe is without a shadow of a doubt my grandma's cooking. Is this food? Really? All for me? Well, it isn't for the neighbor's cat. But this, I've never seen food that looks like this before. Leaf sniffs a little closer to me and mumbles under her breath. What is this, Marnie? It's yellow, but parts of it also look brown. It's so fluffy. It's mashed potatoes. Duh. Potato? That's right. Don't you know what potatoes are? I thought that was all medieval people ate, potatoes and meat. We rarely had meat. I was a young girl. It was too expensive. The rabbit was one of my favorites. What did you eat? Mostly bread, eggs, and oats. We had vegetables that were grown from the ground too, like carrots and cabbages. We had too much cabbage, actually. I soon began to tire of it. It was practically to honey. I was partial to honey. Those sweet foods like that were not particularly common. We were unable to afford spices, but sometimes we had mint and parsley. These potatoes, though. Leaf sinks her tines of her fork deep into the smooth, fluffy mound of mashed potatoes in her plate. They are quite perplexing. Are they? Are they like parsnips? Well, I guess both root vegetables. I guess they're both root vegetables, but they taste a little different. Seriously though, how could you not know what a potato is? At least amusement over photographs and running water are expected, but I never thought she'd be stumped by something as simple as a common potato. We lived under a rock these past few years. Under a tree, actually. I was living in a forest, but I do not believe there are many rocks around me. She's just using proverbs around her. She's too old-fashioned and she doesn't understand. Much like she doesn't understand potatoes. Do people in medieval England really not have access to potatoes? I thought they would grow everywhere. But wrong thing. I'd like to look this up later. It's a good thing my phone still gets a sliver of signal, even though French Chapel is in the middle of nowhere. I'm most interested in the potatoes. I suppose I shall dig in. Leaf brings her a spoonful of shepherd's pie to her lips. Steam rises from the mashed potatoes and she blows on it delicately. She's afraid of burning her tongue before she puts it in her mouth. She closes her eyes, eyelashes matted together. She chews, she swallows. Then... My goodness! I had no idea that potatoes could be so very delicious! There is such a rich, complex mixture of flavors. The meat is juicy, and the potatoes are soft but crispy at the same time, and... oh! This is amazing! It is the most wonderful thing I've ever had in my lifetime. This must be stuff, especially the stuff that kings and lords subside on. I simply must try more. Leaf digs into her food eagerly. All traces of her earlier skepticism gone. Gran watches from across the table, smiling genuinely. It seems my shepherd's pie is going down that treat. Do you like it, Leaf? Very much so. Leaf is so moved by the shepherd's pie, she momentarily forgets herself. She's speaking with a mouthful. How ungallant. But Grant doesn't seem to mind. Instead, she laughs. Oh, I'm glad. Just don't eat too quickly, dear. I don't want you to choke. Oh, I will be careful, my good woman. I would not want to waste a single scrap of your food. Really, though, you must be some kind of enchantress to procure something so wonderful from such a simple ingredient. Well, Frank did always say I had magic fingers in the kitchen. Perhaps he was right. I didn't magic this up for nothing. For nothing, though. Most of the ingredients come from Sainsbury. But the carrots were grown in our very own garden. There's some onions, too. And peas and Worcestershire sauce to taste. For taste. I know people don't like Worcestershire sauce, but I'm glad it's been such a hit. It is incredible. If only my father could have been able to cook like this. I fear I am not worthy of so rare of a delicacy. Tears begin to bead in Leaf's eyes. Does she like food so much it's brought her to tears? No way my grandma's cooking is good, but it's not that good. Just how bland was the food Leaf used to eat. I finally begin to imagine. Oh, Marnie. Whatever happened to a picnic camper? Oh, shoot. I knew I was forgetting something. I must have left it in the forest. I scrubbed guiltily. All of a sudden, I feel like I'm being interrogated from my head of year. It's the Marnie Lennox told Leona Davies to drink bleach during PE. It's just all over again. Not that I was to blame for that. I mean, yeah, I did tell Leona Davies. Leona Davy to drink bleach, but she told me I was so short, looking like a creature from Harry Potter. And she pinged the back of my wash truck when I was getting changed. She deserved it. My head year, Miss Gillespie, was not convinced. I'm sorry, Grandma. I was so busy meeting with Leaf that the bus stop, I kind of slipped my mind. I think I must have left in the forest. You're not bad, are you? Oh no, quite the contrary. I'm just glad that you're in one piece. But the hamper was old, wasn't it? But the hamper was old, wasn't it? It had for years. I know it's true, but it's not gone forever. I'm sure you'll be able to find it eventually. And if I can't, the world will be unfortunate, yes, but there's no need to worry. That hammer's only an object. I don't store memories inside physical objects. They're all inside my head, you see. That's what Grunt says, but I have my doubts. If it's true, why she hung on to Georgie's birdcage? Astri, not let it close. And my dad's to a train set. Maybe she's more upset about than she's seeing on. Right on. No, I'm falling asleep, damn it. Wake up! Wake up! You did this to me, Hatsuki. You did this to me. You're the cause of me being tired. You did this to me, Hatsuki. I'm joking. It's not your fault. Kind of. Oh yes, that's right. I was going to thank you, but I totally forgot. It's right here, Gran. At my skirt pocket, where the necklace lies hidden out of sight. Thanks for the gift, I really appreciate it. You're welcome, dear. I thought it might come in handy. Keep it close, alright? You never know when you might need it. The precious heirloom! It's been passed down to my side of the family for generations. It's imbued with all sorts of powers. I just hope they can keep you safe. There are 5 bedrooms in my grandma's house. Back in the day, Saviol, when the Lennox family was together as one, my grandparents slept in the master bedroom, with its large double bed and its walk-in wardrobe that smelled of rose water. My Uncle Jim, being the oldest child, had the second largest bedroom in the house, all to himself. He populated it with dirty socks and plates covered in crumbs of pilfered meat. Pies, my grand's almost. My grand's always been a dab hand in the kitchen. And it used to smell of a musty teenage boy when he was younger. Or so my dad says. My dad never liked Uncle Jim very much. Maybe that's because there's a 10-year age gap between the two of them. And my Uncle Jim took advantage of it at every chance that he could. Uncle Jim was always bossing my dad around when they kids. Once, when he caught my dad fiddling with his radio, he hit my dad over the head with it and broke it. The 3rd largest bedroom went to the oldest daughter, Allison, while the 4th bedroom belonged to the youngest daughter, Letta. My dad being the youngest to share his bedroom with Uncle Stephen. Uncle Stephen. Until Uncle Jim moved out. Then he took Uncle Jim's room. Gran still sleeps in her bedroom, and I choose Aunt Letta's old room as my temporary bedroom. Aunt Letta's room is small but cozy. It overlooks the garden. From the wide windows, you can see the nice view of the lake. I think it's a fairly nice as far as rooms go. Particularly fond of the vanity table by the old wooden wardrobe, with rosebuds carved into the mirror and the brass handles. As it stands, there are 3 rooms in my grandma's house that Leaf could choose to sleep in. It's like there's a dire shortage of beds, unlike the inn in Bethlehem, where Jesus was born. I know more about Jesus than I like. One of my mom's sisters, Aunt Joyce, is a devout Catholic, and she lost no time in lecturing me about fire and brimstone when she babysat me. Maybe she was hoping to scare me into submission. I think she used to terrorize my mother when they were younger. That being the case, the current situation doesn't make any sense. I can't wrap my head around it. What are you doing in my room? Please, do not raise your voice, my lady. My purposes are not nefarious, I promise you. I have come here because I must. As your knight, it is my duty to protect you, and to do so, I must remain by your side. I get that, but you'd really need to stick to me 24/7, even when I'm sleeping. I'm glad Leaf cares about my welfare so well, but I think she might be taking this a bit too far. That's kind of fishy, if you ask me. Oh yes, it's imperative that I stay with you all the time. Stay by you all the time. You are most valuable. You are your most valuable when you are vulnerable, when you're asleep. That's precisely when you need my protection the most. But I'm staying with my gran. It's not like there's something in the world in here that would hurt me. Right? Of course. Of that I'm not certain. Perhaps you are correct, and I'm being too cautious. But it's better to be safe than sorry. Is that not how the old saying goes? So, Leaf is familiar with that turn of phrase, huh? I thought she was impervious to proverbs, but I guess some sayings are universal enough that they can even span centuries. As you know, the forest that borders this village is full of mysterious creatures and ill omens. It is entirely possible they could lurk. The darkened streets when the moon is high. It is almost a full moon, you see. Leaf points out the window. I follow her direction of her finger. True to her words, the inky black sky beyond the window is illuminated by a round, pale moon. It's not quite a full moon yet, but only a small sliver is needed to create a perfect early circle. It's not like being in astrology, or that the shifting of the planets can impact our personalities or relationships. But so many bizarre things have happened to me today. It's almost full moon. The almost full moon looks oddly eerie. I can't believe the shut. I can't help but shudder. Maybe the full moon does signify something celestial important. What do I know? The world is much more mysterious than I ever thought it could for. The full moon is said to contain untold powers. Why, I have heard emperors have driven to madness because of it. I would never forgive myself if you were hurt because of my own carelessness. That is why I must stay with you as your knight. These intense eyes are boring to me. Smile, abashed and look away. I've been clammed. My eye. Fuck. Well, that made no sense. My brain is dying. End my life. What the fuck did I just say? I guess it's no use talking around. She's so immovable as a boulder. She refuses to budge. What the fuck? I'm so confused what the fuck my brain just made me say. Being stubborn must have been a prerequisite for any knight back in the day. Peculiarly a female one. Brain is dying. From what little I know about the early ADs, it wasn't a wonderful period to be a woman. I don't think I can dissuade Leaf. Hello, Ruby! Welcome. It isn't possible. Alright, fine. You can stay in this room with me. But if you really want, but where are you going to sleep? The floor isn't really cozy. I don't have a camp bed. That is a simple matter. I will sleep by your side in this very bed. There is plenty of room, and I'll be at hand to protect you should there be need arise. It is the perfect plan. Perfect, say. Yes, you did join. You joined to gay. I have gotten one gush so far because we saw her new outfit. This is her pajama outfit. It's also very cute. I didn't know about that. Why? What is the problem, my lady? There's a bunch of problems. For one, we're still strangers. Really? But I thought we were friends. We could be friends, but that doesn't mean I want to sleep with you. This is all moving too soon. I beg your pardon? Forget it. This is just it. It'll never work. There's no way I can share my bed with you. I cannot change your mind? No, you can't. So don't even bother. That's my final word, and I'm sticking to it. That's final. But despite my protests, I found myself sharing my bed with Leaf. My bed was actually Letta's old bed, but she lives out in York now, so it's not like she has any use for it. Isn't that small, but Leaf's body still feels way too close to mine. Maybe that's a form of magic, too. Why is my heart beating so hard? Her legs keep brushing against my own, beneath the covers, and her brown hair tickles my cheeks. Be right back. I've returned. And her brown hair tickles my cheeks. Every time she exhales, her breath dances against the nape of my neck, and I shudder. Oh wait, give me a second. I need to... Let me save before the game ends itself again. That for a minute. Where is the tab? Give me a second. There it is. That. We're here. Load from hub. See more. That's the wrong one. There we go. Hit this one. Need to put my new sword on, put my proper sword on this one at some point, but I'll do that eventually in my life. Until then, have it load on. Go. There we go. Proper attire. Every time she exhales, her breath dances against my neck, and I shudder. This is unbearable. It feels like torture. The full moon might have driven the Emperor, Caligula, to madness. Not that I know much about history, but at least he didn't have to reckon with Leaf. The full moon might have. Why did my mouse do that word thing? How am I gonna sit like this? Achievement: quiet night. I turn about in bed, ruffling the covers and examining my gently dozing companion. Print screen. It's free. No, it's not free. It's not free. I thought it's good. She made a. Abby Kime made a sequel. I got. I was. It's free. It's not. I'm thinking about too many things. Day on the mind. Head empty. I also woke up at 9 a.m. Actually, ate something because I have to play Goosey Stuck with my friend, and I'm still kind of tired. It's great. Life is great. Playing gay VNs while freaking dying from existence is amazing. Now, where'd I put this? Wait a second. I need to save this screenshot real quick. Where is the... Here it is, in here. Right here. Whoop. Her eyelashes are matted together, and her lips are faintly pursed in sleep, almost like a princess from a fairy story. Though she's a knight, undoubtedly skilled with a sword, she really is pretty. Ugh. I need to stop thinking thoughts like this, or I'll never be able to get any Shatai. Jeez. I'm sorry. Some brave, noble knight you are. You fell asleep before I did. Leaf doesn't reply. She can cocoon deeply in the world of sleep, her eyes closed. She looks much as she did when I first found her in the forest, sword in hand, head lolled, just like a life-sized doll. But shallow though it is, Leaf's chest is unmistakably moving up and down in sleep. Her lips part and her minty breath, toothpaste was another novelty to my self-proclaimed knight, brushes my cheek. Okay, have fun. Bye bye, Ruby. Thanks for popping by. She really is alive. She's real. This all feels fantastical, but how can I deny the truth when it's inches away from my face? I found a sleeping knight in an enchanted glade deep within the forest. I thought nothing interesting ever happened in Greenchapel, but I was wrong. I feel like I've embarked upon an adventure of a lifetime. This is undoubtedly amazing, but what am I going to do with you? I sigh again. I have to go back home soon, you know. My parents will pick me up in a few days. Then, where will you go? You don't have a family or any friends, and you're all alone. Leaf doesn't stir. She continues to lie there, immobile, unaware of how much trouble she's causing. You could stay with me and my gran for a while, but who knows what will happen after that. It's not like I can take you to Grimsby with me. You're a real girl, not a pet. I can hardly beg my parents to take you in. It's not possible. They'll think I was mad. Who knows, maybe I am. I reach out hesitantly and coil a strand of Leaf's brown hair about my index finger. Just to double check that she really is real. hair is soft and silky. It feels cool against my skin. I shiver. Hey, Leaf? What do you think? Where you go when this is all over? What will you do? Leaf sighs in her sleep. She turns over, pulling the covers with her, and buries her cheek against her pillow. Softly. So softly. I think I might have imagined it. She remembers something beneath her breath. Perhaps it's just my imagination, but it sounded like Edmund. The next day. I didn't get very much sleep last night. Its closeness agitated my heart too much. I was only able to snatch about 3 or 4 hours of intermittent rest. I yawn as I sit on the breakfast table, and I almost fall face first into Gran's porridge. Fortunately, Gran isn't here to comment on my bags beneath my eyes. She said she felt a little tired this morning and she went to put her feet up in the living room after serving us breakfast. It's just Leaf and I in the kitchen now, basking in the early morning sunshine. But it does little to rejuvenate me. The sunlight hurts my eyes, I shrink away from it, hissing like Nosferatu. Why does it have to be so stupidly bright? Even the chirping of the bird outside is trying my patience. I look at my reflection in my cup of chamomile tea. My face is so pale I could have skipped out on my foundation altogether, and I didn't even bother with my favorite black eyeshadow. The shadows beneath my eyes are dark enough to render my makeup unnecessary. I think you could consider this that a plus. Are you alright, my lady? He looks at me with evident concern. She slept like a log, unlike me. She succumbed to the land of dreams the moment her head touched the pillow, and she didn't stir until around 8 o'clock in the morning. It's easy for some people. You'd think I'm being frozen in a magical cryogenic sleep for more than 1,000 years. She wouldn't need to rest quite a lot. But I guess not. Maybe the world she sustained yesterday, took a toll, who knows? I'm fine, you don't need to worry about me. But as your knight, it is my duty to worry about you. I think you give yourself too many duties. It's because of Leaf's rampant desire to protect me that I got so little sleep in the first place. This is all her fault. Nonsense! I would never worry about you too much. It is no burden, trust me. Maybe it's not a burden to you, but for me... You fuss about me even more than my own mother does. And I wish my mother had given the opportunity to fuss over me. Alas, she died shortly after I was born. Never had a chance to know her, and I never had a chance to know her. Oh, well. Now that casts something of a pall over the breakfast table. I'm sorry to hear that. You need not apologize, my lady. I was merely stating the facts. Women often died in childbirth during my era. It was so expected that one of the reasons why I was so adverse to the idea of having children. Blah, 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 blah. I tried to talk me around, but I was always so flighty, I doubt I would have made a good mother. Being a knight is much more exciting than slaving away over a stove and wiping dirty noses. But being a knight comes with its own perils, surely. Oh yes! There was a significantly higher risk of being cut down by a sword, or shot through the breast with an arrow. Breast, lol. But even those deaths would be less grim than bleeding out after a botched pregnancy. Bards never sing with a child's woman face whenever they give birth, but they do to wax poetic about brave warriors who go off to battle. But I digress. You should count yourself lucky that your family is willing to support you. I must admit, I am so much jealous. But in lieu of your mother, I will step in and see that you are all right. You don't have to. But I want to! Now, are you feeling alright? You don't have a temperature, do you? Leaf shuffles her chair a little closer to mine, its wooden legs screeching against the flagstone floor. She brushes a few strands of my pale hair to one side and presses a palm of her hand flush against my face. I can't read. Hello, Jin. How are you doing? Okay, posture. Hydrate. Head pats. Pog. Head pats. Pog. Look at him go. Pog. I didn't show. I don't know. I'm assuming it showed. If it didn't. Whoops. How are you doing? How was your stream of Terraria? Stream is good. Very gay. You missed on a very cute moment in the bedroom. All innocent, I assure you. All innocent. All stream, all Twitch appropriate. Predictably, I feel my cheeks flush at this close contact. You'd think she'd be a little less handsy since she comes from a different era to my own. But I guess Leaf's a medieval girl through and through. Not a stuffy Victorian, and it seems her idea of personal space is a little different from my own. Did medieval people often have a concept of personal space? Maybe they didn't have much time to worry about such trifling matters. Maybe people had to huddle together for warmth, survive the wicked winters. You're gonna be a bit sus in chat, ayo? Well, if you ever catch me gushing, feel free to point them out and punish me later at the end of the stream where I gotta do squats for the amount of gushes I have. So far I have one gush. If you think I've gushed, well, don't feel free to call me out, I guess it's up to you. I don't care. I don't care! I stole this idea from my friend who isn't here yet. Who isn't here, which is sad. That's fine. You do feel a touch warm. I'm fine. It's fine, really. I back away from Leafs in a frenzy, my face burning. Why does being in her company make me feel so perpetually flustered? She's definitely pretty. That goes without saying. But I've never gone to pieces like this around anybody else before. Maybe it's the magic in the air. Let's just go with that. Yes, the magic in the air. Are you finished with that, Leaf? I gestured to a bowl of porridge. She nods her head. Yes, indeed. It was most delicious. Your grandmother is a talented cook. I'm sure she'd be happy to hear about that. You'll have to let her know. You'll have to let her know later. I guess I'll clean these up then. I take our bowls to the sink and leave trails along behind me like a lost puppy. But you probably touched your food, Marnie. I'm not hungry. Tut! That is no good. You will run out of stamina if you don't eat everything up. Moreover, Your grandmother's cooking is so good it seems a shame to waste it. And why don't you have the rest, if you want it so much? Well, I would not want to eat your food from under your nose, but if you insist. Leif takes my bowl of half-finished porridge gratefully and all but skips back to the table, a bright smile on her face. Thank you very much! You're so predictable. So much for caring about my health. Was it all a ploy so she could eat my leftovers? Leif might be an Omanite, but she's something of a glutton. Mmm, delicious. The porridge is nice and thick, but it is sweet too. Sugar is a godsend, and these strawberries are so plump and juicy. Hey, be careful, why don't you? You'd get some porridge on your cheek. You've got some porridge on your cheek. Ayo? Where? Here? No, right there. Leif tries to lick the stray bit of porridge off her cheek with a pink, probing tongue, while I wash her bowl in the sink. The sound of running water drums against the metal basin of the sink. It's kind of relaxing, I guess. I rub the sponge back and forth across the circumference of the bowl, rubbing away any stray bits of porridge. I kind of feel like an archaeologist trying to buff off the old Grecian vase for display in a museum. Anyway, what do you want to do today? Do you want to do anything? Do you have anything in mind? Leif ponders, leaning back in a chair. There's still a bit of porridge stuck to her cheek. I would like to go back to the forest again. But that would be a wise idea. You look down on your feet, my dear lady. I doubt you would be up to any vigorous exercise, and I do not want to tire you out needlessly. Moreover, Leif massages her right shoulder with her left arm. She rotates her injured shoulder a few times, wincing. I am still recovering from the wound I sustained yesterday. While I can still hold a sword, I have no real desire to pick a fight with anybody. I am able to escape yesterday, but I fear today I will not be so lucky. I want to help him if I can, but... Leif shakes her head. Well, never mind. I trust there will be time enough for that. Leif doesn't specify who it is exactly she wants to help, but the true meaning behind her words are almost immediately obvious. Of course she's talking about her brother Edmund. We still don't know what strange spell she's under, if he's under a spell at all, and I have no doubt Leif wants to help him. Give me a second, I need to do a quick bio break. All that hydrating I've done has been taking a toll on me. Be back in a second. I forgot about the thing where I had to do stream mode for it to work. Wait, come on. There we go. I've got studio mode overlay. Lol. Anyways. But what can we do? What can she do? Trotting to the woods with an injured arm might be nothing short of a suicide. It would be better if we both got some rest. I don't want to sit by idly. It has been such a long time since I was able to experience this world and all its delights. I think it would be a shame to waste the opportunity. And how about this? I finished washing the last of the porridge residue from the Leaf's bowl. I set the dripping piece of crockery to one side and dry my hand on one of my grandma's many kitchen towels. This one is blue and white, embroidered with birds. Why do we need to know that? I don't know. Then I turned back to Leaf. Venture is rather new to you, right? Indeed, though I have been to the settlement before, it is quite different than it was in my time. Then wanted to show you around. It's not like there's much to show, really, but there's a few fields and a farm. I know the church is kind of interesting. I guess the church is kind of interesting. Can't promise it'll be much fun, but maybe you should look at the bright side. On the bright side, Chapel is still a relatively dull, boring village, but deep in the middle of nowhere. At least it's not. At least I'm not on my own. I can't read quickly. I can't read. My brain is horrid. Now that there's something to be thankful for. I was trying to be thankful at least, but there really is nothing here, huh? I kick at a loose pebble with the tip of my wire trainer. No matter how I try, it's hard to put a positive spin on this piddly little village. Everything in Fenchop was small, from the primary school to its narrow streets to the houses themselves. Fenchop's staggering population of 500, give or take, is largely comprised of OAPs, and the homes reflect that. Most of the brick buildings that line the road are single-story bungalows built by elderly couples too ancient to hobble up flights of stairs. Granted, practically huge house sticks out like a sore thumb. At least it would if it wasn't buffered from the rest of the friend chapel by a sprawling garden and a twisting, turning driveway lined with oak trees. I meandered on the streets aimlessly, my hand shoved in my pockets. We passed the shut-up school about 3 times now. The Leafs was excited at her first sighting of it, I think dated back to the 1920s. Her initial enthusiasm has worn off. If she's starting to get bored of this village after a day, what does the future hold? The prognosis is a positive one. I can tell you that much. Stepping every out here, I hope you're not too bored. Oh no! I think this village is very interesting. Eve smiles bravely, but I think she might be putting on an act. Maybe she's afraid too much negativity will hurt my feelings. To be honest with you, I don't care one way or another. I'm not that keen on Fenchop either. I live in Grimsby, which is a town by the sea. There's way more shops and houses and public transport. Even if the stink of fish guts is pretty pervasive around the harbour, particularly during the summer. If we were back in Grimsby, I could show you some of the museums or the shops. like London, but at least there's some stuff to do there. I bet you'd like it that more. Grimsby does sound interesting, but I'm rather fond of this village too. It might be small, but it's still bigger than many of the settlements from my own time period. The woman at the corner shop, as you termed it, was very friendly too. I don't know if friendly is the right word for it. She seemed more bemused than anything by her encounter with Leaf. Not that I could blame her. We stopped by the corner store a little while back, mostly because, wasn't sure where else to take Leaf, and I thought maybe maybe a kind of Red Bull would wake me up. Leaf was intrigued by the section of snacks on display, particularly the Space Raiders, but she was particularly taken by the coolers in the back of the dingy stall, with frozen fruit pies and tubes of ice cream. Look at this, Marty. It's incredible. When I put my hand in this strange box, I can feel a chill on my fingertips. Can there be a slice of winter stored within the device? It must be magic. I had to explain, my face turning red as a woman at the till stared at us, that no, it wasn't magic. It was just a refrigerator. I bought Leaf a Solero in the end. Mostly shut her up, but her curiosity hasn't abated. Oh. Wow. This is quite refreshing. Look at her go. How adorable. We love her. Leaf licks her mango ice cream with a contented smile. I do have to wonder how it keeps its shape, though. It's a warm day, and the sun is high in the sky, yet this ice cream, as you so called it, is still cold. I already told you, it's cause it was stored in a fridge. A fridge? Yes, that's what the thing in the shop was that amused you so much. You're putting your fingers in and out of it, then giggling, just like a little kid. We use them to keep food cold so it doesn't spoil or go off when it gets hot. Is that so? Luke examines her Solero, as though it's a curio in a museum. That is ingenious! We used to preserve food by salting or smoking it back in my day. Only wealthy people could pack food in ice during the summer months. I failed to see any ice in that refrigerator, though. How did it keep everything cold? Electricity? Electricity? Electricity is, never mind. I probably understand how electricity works myself. How am I going to explain it to Leaf? She should accept that it works like everybody else without questioning it. I'm sure that I'd pay more attention in physics class. I'd be a lot better at understanding the world around me. I never realized how ignorant I was at all these day-to-day things until I met Leaf. I think we've seen all there is to see around these parts. There's not much else to go, but we can stop by the church. Oh yes! What a great idea! Leaf licks the last bit of her half-melted Solero from its wooden stick and drops it into a nearby dustbin. I would very much like to see what modern churches look like. There were monasteries and abbeys back in my period, of course, but they were all quite sober buildings made of stone. I hope the churches nowadays are more intriguing. What does she expect to find at Chapel's local church? A merry-go-round? A ball pit? If she's looking for fun, she'll be sorely disappointed. You say that the church is this way, my lady. It's down this winding road past all the trees. That church doesn't have much going on for it architecturally, but by God, does it have a lot of trees. That's the only thing that isn't in chronological short supply around this place. Chronically short supply. I can't read for shit. Ah, please wait one moment, my lady. What is it? You didn't get stung by something, did you? No, it's not that. I just need to adjust my shoes. Leaf pauses, balancing on one leg. He struggles to undo the silvery buckle, binding his shoes to her feet. Leaf's new shoes, like the rest of her new clothes, were pilfered from Aunt Letta's old things. Fortunately, Letta's old shoes fit her perfectly. There shouldn't be any problems with them, but she does have the slightest sliver of a heel, and Leaf keeps stopping and fiddling with them. Are you alright? I am fine. I apologize for being a burden, my lady. I'm not accustomed to walking on shoes such as these. Fine though they are, I think I need a bit more practice. I did not imagine when we first set foot, that this church would be so far away, or that the path would be so uneven. Tell me about it. My grandparents used to take me and my cousins here for Easter, and it was such a slog. You think they'd build a church a little closer to the center of the village? I wonder why it's all the way out here. Maybe they wanted to lay the dead to rest away from the noise of the living. Laying beneath the shade of the old oak trees submerged within the soil. It does not sound like a particularly bad way to go. If that's the case, it was very thoughtful. It seems like a bit of a waste. It's like Fen Chapel was It's not like Fen Chapel was a metropolis. It's not like civilians would make enough noise to raise the dead. So now that I think about it, Fen Chapel's church is more than 700 years old. So many people would have been buried around the church's sprawling grounds. There are probably more skeletons in the soil than there are living beings beneath Fen Chapel proper. Sorry. Oh, excuse me. If a zombie apocalypse were to occur, Fen Chapel would be overrun in minutes. I doubt the geriatrics of their bungalows would be able to put up with much of a fight. Sometimes churches are constructed on the outskirts of settlements, despite being important places of worship. Graveyards bring bad luck. And diseases too. Maybe that's why. Fen Chapel Church, the original one anyway, was constructed only a century or so after the Black Plague disseminated Europe. Perhaps whoever built this church was afraid if they put it too close to the village, they'd run the risk of infecting the villagers if any deceased corpses were laid to rest. But it's not like I go back in time and ask. I've only met 2 people in my short time who come from the distant past, and one of them wasn't actually talkative. Well, never mind. We're nearly there now. I push in the path. Leaf hurries along by my side, going to a bobbing. The ground is congested with weeds and yet still stinging needles. I make sure to give them a wide breadth. Fruit-bearing trees are dotted here and there, half hidden by the oaks and birches. Branches laden with ripe, red berries sway gently in the breeze, as though trying to tempt us. Wildflowers grow in tall grass and clustered of mushrooms are stacked one on top of another beneath some of the tree trunks. There really is a lot of nature around Fenchapel. It is as though the village itself is being swallowed by plants. Leaf closes her eyes and inhales deeply, saving the rich scent of the soil. Many years have passed, but it remains as scenic as I remember. She crouches, her eyes shining, and reaches out for a damp cluster of mushrooms growing on the base of a tree. I wonder if I can eat these. They do look rather nutritious. Why do you think about food at a time like this? You've eaten so much already. It's only 8 o'clock. You can't be hungry. I'm not famished by any means, but surely a small snack wouldn't hurt. As your knight, I need to keep up my strength so I can intercept any enemies who might try to attack us. I think you're trying to excuse your own gluttony. Why are you so hungry? You were asleep for 1,000 years. That is exactly why I must sample as many dishes from this era as I can. Being able to eat for 13 centuries is a miserable thing indeed. I would not even wish that upon my own worst enemy. They want to stop for a snack? If I may. No, you may not. I nudged Leaf in the side with the tip of my shoe, and almost overbalanced her. You can't just eat food off the ground, it isn't sanitary. But it used to be. I used to do that all the time when I was younger. And did that ever have any unfortunate outcomes? Well, once I ate some rather sour berries and they made my stomach churn most horridly. My skin went cold and clammy, and then I vomited. But I was alright in the end. I only had to lie in bed for a week. Only a week, she says. I shake my head. I think see why your brother was so adamant against you being a knight now. Did you have any common sense? I'd like to think that I'm reasonably intelligent, but when I get hungry, your own greed wins out, does it? At least she's honest about it. Well, don't worry, we can go back and get something from Gran's in a couple of hours. I think she has some cold ham in the fridge. At Moira's house, homemade bread. You absolutely can't eat those mushrooms, though. The dog might have pissed on them, or they could be poisonous. But there are no buts. Now get up. Let's keep going. Oh. Alright then. You are my lady, and it is my duty to obey you. But Leaf casts one last lingering look at the mushrooms before finally getting up off her feet. It is a pity. Those mushrooms look delicious. I roll my eyes. Leaf might be a brave knight, but his survival instincts are surprisingly poor. I'll have to keep an eye on her in the future. I don't want her getting food poisoning. I've had enough of things. I have enough things to worry about already. Most of them leaf related. Without her poor self-control making it even worse. So this is the church you spoke of. How strange. I had hoped the church was a bit more exciting. Modern, I suppose. But it does not look so very dissimilar from the churches of my day. It is bigger, yes, and these stone carvings of the exterior are grander than anything I am accustomed to. A master stonemason must have been commissioned to work on the edifice. And yet, I suppose no matter how much time passes, some things simply do not change. The church is sequestered of the way in a small grove surrounded by trees. The gentle summer breeze ruffles the grass at our feet, and then the leaves in the trees. So they shrivel. They shiver. Though that chapel is a rather unremarkable village, the church is unusually large. Bit of stone and has a rather tall tower that can be seen from the miles away. The tower tilts ever so slightly to one side, as though trying to peel away from the main building. Grant told me that was the result of a freak earthquake back in the early 1900s, when her mother was still a young girl. There's a large stained glass window inlaid on one of the side of the church. The glass window shimmering with rainbow colors as the warm sunlight filters through it. It looks a little out of place, but it's not less beauty. I think the window was added a few centuries after the church was initially built. I never liked going to the Easter and Christmas event, Christmas church. Oh my god, I can't fucking read now. I never liked going to the Easter or Christmas Eve church services here when I was a kid. But I loved gawking at the window. It looked almost like one in Notre Dame. Not that I've ever been to France. I just know that the cathedral from the Disney movie. But a little less extravagant. The church is decorated with stone carvings and with gargoyles, and their faces half worn away thanks to the passing of time. I have to crane my neck to look at all of them, and the harsh sunlight gets in my eyes. But I can keep out a few details. I can make out a few details now and then. Some of the some of the gargoyles have curved horns, just like rams, while others have sharp teeth and claws like dragons. A few more look like knights and soldiers, and one looks like an ailing man being pressed between the stone walls of the old church. A graveyard surrounds the church, and some of the most placards tombs spill into the thicket of trees about us. Some of the headstones are crumbled and weather-beaten, while others look relatively new. A stone angel missing half her face stands proudly holding a banner above her head. It looks like she's gotten a particular fancy group of headstones that have been laid flat against the ground, surrounded by steel railings to dissuade vandals. A few other headstones are shaped like crosses, while the others look like open books. Most headstones, of course, are fairly standard. They jut vertically from the ground, like moss-stunted teeth. I examined a few of the names of the headstones nearby me. Gaia Ruiz. More time. Charlie Howard, age 63, and Florence Howard, age 84, wife of the above. Buddy Wellston. She shall be missing. She shall be missed. Miriam Spicer, now in the arms of God. Timothy Reynolds, only 3 years old. Alicia Alistair McDougall, and his faithful wife, Caitlin. I wonder if I searched hard enough wherever I found Elizabeth Bradshaw among the book's borders. Wake up, for fuck's sake. She must have lived in Benchapel at least at some point in her life. But maybe she found this too small village trifling by 19th century standards. I wouldn't blame her if she decided to move away. Who knows where her body lies now? Her bones might have... Fuck. Wake up, brain. Suppress a small shiver. Graveyards always make me feel gloomy. It's a little grim, isn't it? Knowing that you're traipsing around over decades upon decades of dead bones stacked on top of each other like Ladanya.